Hello, Rob here, and I will be giving you my review of Tailor Soldier Spy coming up on RB&D Reviews. Thanks for clicking on this video for my review. Now, for those of you that don't know, I don't live in a major city, so unlike a lot of my fellow YouTubers who I think do, they're able to see a lot of different kinds of independent movies like Tree of Life, The Artist, and all that. And unfortunately for me, my local movie theaters don't play those movies. They usually play the, the more general release, wide release movies. So occasionally we'll get a limited release movie, but sometimes it's not right away, or sometimes I have to wait till it comes out on DVD. But I wanted to see Tailor Spy when it came out back in December. So when I saw a review for this movie on Ebert Presents at the Movies, I'm like, oh boy, this sounds like an interesting movie. So I clicked on my local websites, theater websites, showings, and unfortunately, you can imagine how disappointed I was to see that it wasn't playing. This was back in the mid-December, and finally, my local movie theater decided that they got enough free space in their movie theater to book this movie, so I finally got a chance to see it. Tailor Soldier Spy, it's a smart, complicated spy movie. It stars Gary Oldman as a retired British member of a secret spy organization. He's asked to come out of retirement because there's a mole or a undercover agent working there. The movie is set in 1973, so the Cold War is still going on, and it's the Russians who put in the undercover agent. And from there, the story kind of becomes a tangled web of confusion, and where you have to ask yourself, who can you trust and who is actually being truthful? This movie is based off of a book, and it was first made into a miniseries with Alec Guinness back in 1979. And this movie is shot in bleak gray, and the music sounds like it's a cross between a film noir and a touch of the James Bond guitar. Now, this movie is slow-paced, and it does take a while for the mystery to get going, but once it does, I was interested in what I was seeing, and I was on the edge of my seat, even though sometimes I didn't know what was going on. What makes this film different from a lot of other spy movies that are out now is that there's a lot of quick scenes that add up later on, and you have to, pay attention to them, because oftentimes it might be just an actor doing something quick, like picking something up and putting it over there or something like that, so you might miss a lot of that. And the character of George Smiley, who Gary Oldman plays, it shows him going through his daily routine. It just doesn't just show him going out and doing his little mission thing. You see him, at home. You see him getting, at one point, going to the optometrist, getting his eyes checked and everything. So you kind of get a look at what his life is like. You really don't see that much with, let's say, James Bond, at least the early James Bond movies. And what I liked was when Smiley is going around asking people questions like a journalist, it's like he's actually, listening to them. It's like he's actually putting his thought into it. That's what I liked about Gary Oldman's performance in this movie. I forgot I was watching Gary Oldman. It was like I was watching an actual older man, going around and trying to solve this case. It's like he uses facial mannerisms, and he uses his body and not just his voice for his performance. And I say this a lot, but I think with movies without good performances, this is a real great performance. The cast is full of performances like this. And let's see, and this movie, I think you have to watch it more than once to get into it, because it is a slow-paced movie, and you have to get used to that. If you're not used to slow-paced movies, you're probably not gonna. It's going to take a while to get used to it. And like I said, the mystery doesn't start up right away, and there's a lot to take in on the first view because it's a subtle movie. It doesn't spell everything out. You have to watch how people, behave around each other, and try to figure out what exactly they're saying. Sometimes they don't really say what they really mean. You have to, listen to them and figure it out on your own. I can kind of see, I've seen some reviews where people said they were dozing off at the end and they came out of the movie theater still not knowing what was going on. But I think this movie, even though I didn't completely know what was going on, I was still interested in what I was seeing. But I do think you have to go see this movie at least more than once to get everything, because you're trying to take everything in on the first time and you get confused. But if you go back and you kind of familiar with the story, you might be able to pick up on stuff you didn't see the first time. But despite that, I'm going to give this movie a see it in theaters verdict. It's different than a lot of people are complaining that there's nothing good playing much anymore. If this movie's playing by you, I recommend at least giving it a shot. Like I said, it's a slow movie. It doesn't spell everything out, but I think the performances and some of the tangled web stuff I think was very effective, and it did, for me, have some very good suspense. So I think now that I've seen the movie, I'm going to see if I can check out the miniseries and see if it's better, because it was a 6 or 7 episode TV miniseries, and maybe they were able to add more in from the book than what the film was allowed to. So who knows? Alright, well, that's my review, and if you've seen the movie, tell me what you thought of it, and if you have any feedback about the channel and how to make it better or anything, I know I greatly appreciate it, and thank you very much for watching.